All right, let's talk about something incredible. There's a language you're speaking right now, every single second of the day, and you probably don't even realize you're fluent. It's not a language of words. It's the silent, unspoken language of our bodies, and I promise you, learning to understand it will completely change how you see every single interaction you have.
You know exactly what I'm talking about, right? That feeling you get, someone insists, no, really, I'm fine, but their smile's just a little too tight, or their shoulders are hunched up to their ears. That little voice in your head, that gut feeling that screams, no, you're not. That's not magic. That's your brain picking up on a powerful, hidden conversation. That's the world of nonverbal cues, and today we're going to learn to see it clearly.
Okay, get ready for this because this number is an absolute game changer. We spend our entire lives, going to school, learning words, grammar, vocabulary, but the words themselves, they're only 7% of how we actually communicate meaning. Just 7. Now look at that chart. A whopping 55%. That is more than half of every message you send and receive is all body language. If you're only listening to the words, you're literally missing most of the conversation.
And believe me, this isn't just about casual chats. The stakes can be, well, life and death. I will never forget this quote from a federal law enforcement instructor. It just completely rewired my brain. When the mouth lies, the body leaks the truth. Wow. It's this incredible idea that our bodies have their own truth, a truth that just cannot be silenced, no matter how hard we try. And that's the journey we're on today, learning to hear that truth.
So here's our game plan. First, we'll pull back the curtain on the unseen conversation. Then we're going to get into the good stuff, decoding the body's secrets. From there, we'll talk about building your own presence of power, then using all this for the language of empathy. And finally, how to truly start mastering your second language.
All right, let's dive right into part 1, the unseen conversation. It is time to discover that massive 55% of communication that, honestly, most of us have been completely missing out on our entire lives.
When you hear ESL, you probably think English as a second language, but I want you to start thinking about a different ESL. Everyone's second language, and that language is body language. This stuff is primal. It's universal. And it is so honest because it bubbles up from our limbic brain. That's the ancient, instinctual part of us that feels way before our logical brain has time to think and maybe, filter the truth. And this right here really breaks it down perfectly. Think about it. Spoken language is something we learn. It changes from culture to culture. We process it consciously, which means, we can use it to deceive. But our real ESL body language, that's totally different. It's instinctual. The way someone shows genuine joy or sudden fear, it looks the same in Tokyo as it does in Toronto. It's processed subconsciously. And that right there is why it leaks the truth. This is why you can feel when something's not right, even when the words sound perfectly okay.
Okay, so now for part 2. Decoding the body's secrets. We know this silent language is happening all around us all the time. Now let's learn how to actually read the signals that people just can't hide.
To really get a sense of how high the stakes are, we have to look at the chilling case of Chris Watts. Back in 2018, he was all over the news, pleading on camera for his missing wife and daughters to come home safely. His words sounded calm, almost rehearsed, but his body was screaming a completely different and absolutely horrifying story. Let's break this down because this is so important. Verbally, he's playing the part of the worried, loving father. He was calm, smiling, even joking with reporters. But his body? All the emotions that a grieving person should be showing, raw fear, gut-wrenching sadness, they were just gone, nowhere to be seen. Instead,
analysts spotted these tiny, fleeting micro-expressions of anger, of disgust, and even hints of happiness. And here is the absolute key. The tell wasn't something he did, it was what he didn't do. The complete absence of the right emotion, that was his confession. So this leads us to a really critical idea called nonverbal leakage. It sounds technical, but it's simple. It's what happens when the truth just slips out. It escapes through these tiny, subconscious movements, gestures, or facial expressions. It's like the body is staging a quiet rebellion, overriding the words coming out of the mouth. Understanding this is absolutely foundational to becoming a skilled observer of people.
Okay, let's get super practical. Here's the first secret to look for: eye blocking. And you're going to see this everywhere now that you know what it is. When someone closes their eyes for just a little too long while they're talking, or they cover their eyes with their hand, or maybe they just look straight down at the floor, it's an unconscious attempt to hide. It's so primal. Little kids do it when they tell a fib. The brain is basically saying, if I can't see you, you can't see this lie I'm telling. Okay, secret number 2 is the shoulder shrug. This one is a universal sign of doubt and uncertainty. So picture this. Your colleague says, yeah, I am 100% on board with this plan. But as they say it, they give this tiny, almost invisible little shrug. Which signal do you believe? The confident words or the doubtful body? Trust the shoulders every single time. Their body is admitting a lack of confidence that their words are desperately trying to hide. And secret number 3 is called lip locking. This is a big one. When you see someone's lips suddenly tighten and almost disappear into their mouth, it's a huge signal that they are trying to physically swallow or suppress some really strong negative emotions. I saw this firsthand when my mother was diagnosed with cancer. She put on such a brave face, she smiled and told everyone, oh, I'll be fine. But I watched her lips, and they kept vanishing. That one little signal told me everything her words wouldn't. She was terrified. And because I could see that silent cue, I was able to connect with how she was really feeling, not just the brave front she was putting on.
Okay, we've spent a lot of time learning how to read other people. Now, it's time to turn that camera around and look at ourselves. Welcome to part 3, the presence of power. This is all about how you can consciously use your own body to build real confidence and influence.
7 seconds. That's it. 7. That is all the time it takes for a complete stranger to form a judgment about you, about your confidence, your trustworthiness, how competent they think you are, all of it based entirely on your body language. Before you've even said hello, your body has already delivered its opening statement. So, what's yours saying?
Well, the amazing news is you can actually change that message in a heartbeat. There's this incredible research by a Harvard psychologist named Amy Cuddy, and she found that by holding what she calls power poses for just 2 minutes, you can literally change your own brain chemistry. So try it. Stand tall, pull your shoulders back, put your hands on your hips, breathe deep. It actually increases testosterone, which is linked to confidence, and it lowers cortisol, the stress hormone. You're not just faking it till you make it. You are signaling to your own nervous system that you are powerful and you belong here.
But let's be super clear here about what we mean by power. This is not about control. Control is rooted in fear, in the need to dominate others. We're talking about true power, and that comes from self-mastery. You know the difference, right? Think of that tense, intimidating boss who makes everyone nervous versus a calm, confident leader who makes the entire team feel safe and capable. That's the difference we're talking about. It's when your inner state of mind perfectly matches your outer posture, and that just radiates an integrity that people can't ignore.
And that idea of making people feel safe leads us perfectly into our next section. Because this isn't just a tool for detection, it's a tool for connection. This is part 4, the language of empathy.
Really at the core of all of this is something called emotional intelligence, or EI. It's a fancy term for a simple idea.
the ability to recognize, understand, and manage emotions, both in yourself and in other people. And body language, it is the absolute window into this skill. Being able to read nonverbal cues is step one to understanding what's going on inside someone else. It's the very foundation of genuine empathy.
And this right here, this is your toolkit. This comes from the groundbreaking work of Dr. Paul Ekman. He figured out that there are 7 universal emotions that have the exact same facial signatures no matter where you are in the world. He called them microexpressions. They're these super fast, involuntary expressions that can flash across a face in as little as 1/25th of a second. Learning to spot these, like the little wrinkles around the eyes in a real, genuine smile versus that one-sided smirk of contempt, it's like gaining an emotional superpower. It lets you respond to what someone is actually feeling, not just the mask they're showing the world. And what's more, our bodies are actually wired for this kind of connection. It's a phenomenon called mirroring. We have these things called mirror neurons in our brains. And when we really click with someone, when we feel that rapport, we subconsciously start to match their posture and their gestures. Think about a great conversation you had. Did you both lean in at the same time or cross your legs the same way? That wasn't a coincidence. It is the body's authentic way of saying, hey, I'm with you. We're on the same wavelength. It is one of the most reliable signs of a real connection. All right, let's bring this all home. This is our final section where we put it all together. Part 5, Mastering Your Second Language. This is where we stop just learning and start doing. We're going to turn all this knowledge into a skill that can actually transform your daily life. Look, mastery doesn't happen overnight. It takes practice. So here is your simple daily game plan. First, mirror practice. Spend just 10 minutes a day looking in a mirror and observing your own expressions. Second, video reflection. Record yourself talking about something and then watch it back. Do your words and your body match? Third, keep an observation journal. When you're out and about, just jot down the nonverbal cues you see. And finally, breath awareness. This is huge. Consciously align calm, deep breathing with an open, confident posture. These little habits, they will fundamentally change how you see yourself and the world. And in the end, this is why all of this matters so much. This quote just says it all. People might forget your words, but they'll remember how you made them feel. Facts and figures fade away, but that feeling, the feeling of being truly seen, of being understood on a deeper level, that is unforgettable. Your body language is the bridge that connects information to emotion. It's what makes people not just hear you, but feel you. So we'll end with this thought. Every single moment of every single day, your body is communicating. It's telling a story about your confidence, your emotions, and your true intentions. The only question left is, are you finally ready to listen?